Good evening, everybody. It is a great day to be back. It's a great day to be a Vol. I'm actually this isn't even fake excitement. I'm pumped. First off, we're going to talk football, legit talk football, because Tennessee football announced their first home game. Even if you don't love that, the night it's on, the day of the week it's on, it got announced. It feels real. I love it. Let's do it. Tennessee baseball welcomes number 1 Arkansas this weekend to Lindsey Nelson. And not only that, we've also got Ross Kivett on the show, assistant coach over there for the Vols. You're gonna come on and talk a little shop with us tonight.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. He was really cool when we got him on the last time, so I'm super excited for this one too.
Yeah, always love having Kiv on. What's his show he's been doing lately? Kicking It with Kiv.
Kicking It with Kiv.
Kicking It with Kiv. So we're gonna, I don't want to take his show name and throw it in here, but you get the idea. So I'm excited to get him on.
We're gonna kick it.
Exactly. We're gonna talk about their 10-8 win last night over Tennessee Tech. Got it made it a little interesting, to keep the fans excited. We don't want anybody going home early. That's not the way we do things at Tennessee. So kept it exciting. And then obviously, like I said, talk about this exciting matchup, exciting series. Checker Lindsey Nelson, 100% capacity. It's weird that we're cheering that's a thing, but that's, I guess, the new normal. And so we'll be talking about all that with him. Can't wait. Tennessee got another commit on Sunday right after we got off the show. We did do a little short episode for you guys if you saw that on Facebook or YouTube. Actually, I'm still working it on YouTube. Listen, we may or may not have stolen some music and gotten in trouble for it. I cannot confirm nor deny that. So still working on the whole YouTube sitch, but it was up on Facebook.
Gotta go to court.
yeah.
Gotta do our time.
We got some good lawyers. Don't worry. But yeah, we get that up on YouTube. We'll have our YouTube videos up on YouTube shortly too. But we did do a short. We'll talk a little bit about it again tonight. Hey, drop your questions in the chat. Tell us where you're listening from. I know we got people from all across Tennessee, not just Tennessee, but also the United States. So big geography, guys. Tell us where you're listening from.
Love geography. Also go check out our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, and Blue Water Climate Control. They do a great job of making this show possible. So go check them out. And also here's a quick word from our good friends at Blue Water Climate Control.
Blue Water Climate Control. From heating and AC installation and repair, commercial or residential, when you choose Blue Water Climate Control, we offer solutions, not a sales pitch. Blue Water Climate Control. Veteran-owned, superior service.
All right, guys. It is Wednesday, May 12th. Let's get this show rolling. I'll see you on the other side. Like a Thursday night kind of feeling. We'll talk about it.
Under the lights.
Balls are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins. Spotted by Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into more important issues. It is Wednesday, May 12th. I'm just excited to be a Vol, and it feels like the first time forever. I'm actually watching Tennessee softball right now in the first round against Texas A&M of the SEC tournament. They had a tough inning in the top of the fifth, sorry, and got out of some trouble. And so they're battling right now in the first round. Feels good to be a Tennessee Vol. Football I haven't watched the latest episode of The Juice, and I'm still talked into a lot of wins. So I don't know what's going to happen when I watch this next episode.
You're going undefeated, right?
Oh, for sure. And we were a little harsh on Danny White. I think rightfully so. I don't know. I think there's some people that are unfairly harsh on him. I think there's some people who are maybe giving him the benefit of the doubt, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. And then some people who, I think we were fair. I think we were fair when we talked.
Yeah, I agree. But, I think he kind of made the right decision this weekend to open things back up.
Oh, there, no doubt about that.
So, I mean, maybe he made up for it a little bit. Maybe he kind of hurt us. He's like, man, I need to chill a little bit. I need to do something for the fans instead of barking that they're negative.
Right. And I think, too, I think this weekend's kind of a very, very, condensed sample of what happens at Tennessee when you just do the right things, when you put together, a good, consistent program. Because, I'm a big fan of Tony Vitello, and we're a big fan of the staff that they've got over there with Zerker, and then we're gonna have Coach Kivett on later. I'm big fans of them. I'm not gonna hide that. But I say all that to say I think they still have a long ways to go in terms of building the baseball program. But they've done a great job thus far. They've been consistent this year. Last year looked like in my opinion, they only improved in 2019. 2020 kind of looked like the year that they were going to explode. And now in 2021, they just I think I would not have been shocked if 2021 was a letdown from a fan's perspective, just because, 2020, it kind of felt like all the pieces were in the right place. And then the first night of SEC play, you were going to get Garrett Crochet back, who last night pitched his first win in the MLB. Everything just felt right. So I expected a letdown this year, but what they've done, and they've done it consistently. And I think we talked about this a few weeks into the season. I think the D1 baseball, all the baseball coverage is waiting for Tennessee to fall apart to be like, told you so. They're not the real deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I don't know if this staff thinks the same thing. Maybe this is a question we can ask Kiv, but, I think they're ahead of schedule when it comes to building a program. 2 years ago, we were, happy about being in a regional. That was the first time we've been to Hoover in, a long time.
4 or 5 years?
I think, yeah, maybe even longer than that. It's been a while. The fact that you're in the position that you are, potentially hosting a regional, maybe even a super regional, is insane. So I'm interested to see kind of his take on where he thinks the program should be and maybe where it's at, because it's far beyond what I ever expected up to this point in Tony Vitello's era.
Yeah, and I kind of went into that spiel just to say, I think Lindsey Nelson would have been sold out a long time ago, but to open it up this weekend, obviously it being the number 1 team in the country helps, but I think it just shows you that when you build this stuff at Tennessee, you don't the Butch Jones era felt like a lot of begging the fans to be excited, begging the fans to be involved. And it's no, you just play well. You just bring good opponents. And the fans will show up. There's no doubt about that. Because do you sell out, Tennessee Tech last night if you open it up to 100%? Probably not. The only reason I say probably not, most years I'd say no. The only reason I say probably not is because there's fans craving Tennessee baseball right now. So if they had opened it up last night completely, there's a chance. But,
yeah, and the students are gone too. So that has something to do with it also. So
but in a normal year, you don't sell out Tech. It's just the way it goes. But this year's different. But all in all, to say this is the same for Tennessee, and we can segue this into Thursday night because a lot of people are calling it a gimmick. I just don't think it's a gimmick. But if you put a good product on the field, if you playing winning football and winning football are not necessarily the same thing. You can kind of, obviously one has to come later if you want to call it winning football. But if you go play competitive, it doesn't help if it's against Bowling Green. But if you go play competitive, if you show, the fans will come. So this does kind of suck for Josh Heupel because he hasn't even gotten to put his bid in yet. So it does seem gimmicky. But all in all, it's just, Tennessee fans show up on a Thursday night if they believe if they believe Tennessee's good, if they believe it's worth watching.
Yeah, and I hate the gimmick thing because everything new is considered a gimmick.
Right.
Literally everything new is to bring exposure, which is basically the definition of a gimmick.
I'm going to go off on another rant, but real quick, checker kneeling's not a gimmick. It wasn't Butch Jones' idea. It's not a gimmick. It was a fan thing. Shut the hell up. It's not a gimmick.
It's a little annoying because
it's
associated with Butch Jones, so we should get rid of it. So we shouldn't like Josh Dobbs. We shouldn't like Derek Barnett. Hell, he brought in Trey Smith. We should hate him because Butch Jones brought him in. So
hold on. There are some Tennessee fans. Did you see during the draft there are some Tennessee fans that obviously don't like Trey Smith? So pump the brakes there.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is a little annoying to see that because that was the one thing I always said about like checker kneeling. It was the fan thing. So to see like the university, the athletic department, the baseball program like being like, we're going to do that this weekend. That's like, it's usually not how it works. But maybe, like, I feel like the only way the school could achieve it is if they hand out T-shirts like they did for basketball. I don't remember what year that was during Bruce Pearl. I believe it was Kentucky game. They handed out T-shirts and they checkered the bottom of Thompson Bowling Arena, the bottom bowl, the lower bowl. So, but yeah, it's not a gimmick when Tennessee did it against Oklahoma and against Florida. It was fan driven. So,
I mean, I'm sorry. Is that not like one of the best pictures of all time? And we're really getting mad because we're wanting to checkerboard the Lindsey Nelson Stadium this weekend against the number one team in the country? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is like, you know what it all comes down to is like Tennessee fans are so battered. And I think every Tennessee fan has like, I think every sports fan has that like superstitious. Everyone does. I don't think I know. Like some of us have maybe stood in the line for the bathroom because of them playing well against Kentucky in the semifinal of the 2019 SEC championship. I don't know who did that, but I know some people would. You know, like there's the guys who don't wash the jerseys they wear to the game. That one's weird, but there's guys that do that. It's just like, so I get like, you're like, I don't want to get excited because when I get excited, we lose. When I stay mellow, we win. It's like, no, it is okay to get excited, especially when you have such a good team. Especially like, I don't know.
Also, Peyton Manning's going to throw at the first pitch on Friday.
That pisses me off.
So
that makes me mad.
I mean, you can't blame it on the checkerboard. You got to blame it on that. It's Peyton. It's not the checkerboard.
Do you think, like, I feel like Peyton's just like laughing at this point. Like, he's like, I'm showing up to all the big games. Like, he went to Kansas in 2020. Like, he's like, I'm showing up to all the big stuff just because. Like, I know. Like, why isn't he at the Bowling Green game?
So he was at Kansas when we beat Kansas.
No, he was at Kansas when we lost to him in Allen.
Oh, in 2020.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He may have been at that other Kansas game, but I don't know. He definitely.
We only know about the games that he's at that we lose,
which is all of the games he's at, Landon.
Right.
I want to know seriously. I do want to know what his record is. It cannot be good.
No, it can't.
It can't be worse than Florida.
We're gonna get Ross Kivett on here in a little bit. Let's get into this Thursday night real quick because apparently this is a gimmick too. Because I don't understand. Like I would rather play Thursday night under the lights than a 100-degree Saturday at noon because that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be at noon.
I mean, yeah. When you argue that, that's a fair point. But you know my stance. Like, don't play college. I know I tweeted this. I was like, don't play college football games on any other day. Unless you're like an FCS team or a MAC team. Like, I'm a big fan of action. But, like, college football is supposed to be played on Saturday. I'm a big Saturday guy. I think the national championship game should never be on a Monday night, ever.
I agree.
So it's just like, people have to work. It does create unique. I said, I tweeted this. As long as we don't do it every year, I'm a fan. If you start doing it, if you start moving it to Thursday and Sunday and Monday – and we never play the opening game on Saturday, I'm not going to be happy because you know what else I love? As much as I hate the 100-degree heat, man, waking up and it being 70 degrees already, cracking open an ice-cold beverage that doesn't have alcohol in it, and getting everything loaded up in the car and, going to the tailgate spot, that's what I love. That's one of the things I love about college football. Like, without that, I don't know how much I love college football.
Yeah.
That might not be true. But, because I've, used to not do that. But it's just like, I'm not going to do that on Thursday. Like, it's not possible. So,
yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be more difficult for some people, like some people that live out of town. But, like, my rebuttal to that is you have till September to take off. Like, just take off.
I mean, yeah, but that's just not the situation for everybody. I want to get paid for those days.
Take PTO.
I want to. What if I want to save my PTO for other things? We've already got to go to freaking New Orleans for Chad.
That's true. That's true. We got to do that.
Yeah, that's what. Like, I would the first time.
Then another thing, like you get football 2 days earlier. You're not kind of happy about that. I'm not saying like I'm not all for the Thursday games because that's just not true. Like you said, I'd rather play it on Saturday, but like I'm not mad about.
No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
Thursday.
I'm not mad about it. I just think I don't think it's like, and I don't think it's like unique. Like everyone's like Tennessee will be center stage. We're on ESPN or SEC Network. Most people don't even have the SEC Network. So we're not center stage. We're playing Bowling Green. Like people are like Ohio State or who's Ohio State playing? Are they playing Minnesota?
Minnesota, yeah.
That's a big game. Like I would watch that on a Thursday night at home. You know what I wouldn't watch? Ohio State and
Bowling Green.
Yeah, I would not watch that game. So it's like that argument I don't hear. That like
I mean
a big deal.
But I guess you have one game to compete with, whereas like I mean even my wife knows this. She was like, this is all the sports packages we got with Hulu Live. And she was like, we also have the Big Ten Network if you want to watch ass. I mean, like, who wants to really watch Big Ten?
But hold on.
But who wants to watch Tennessee? I agree with your point. Your next point is.
I would watch Ohio State and Minnesota, especially the way they are this year, over Alabama and the Citadel.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I think, yes, the Big Ten I would prefer not to watch, but I would watch it over this. I'm just saying it's not a prime time. Like,
yeah,
people
I think
are not
going to more of exposure for, like, recruits. Like, if they're wanting to play in the SEC, I mean, like on Saturday, are they going to watch Tennessee over Georgia or Alabama? Probably not. But, I mean, could they maybe tune into Tennessee and see what they're about? You know, maybe that's – I don't know. We
don't want recruits to watch. We want them to show up blind and just hope for the best. That's the key. Yeah. They cannot be watching right now. I'll watch the orange and white game. They cannot be watching.
They're watching on offense.
Hopefully.
Offensive players can watch. Defense, no.
No, it's just I do find it weird that like I'm curious what so all this stuff probably took place, at least started taking place before Danny White was even the AD. But I've got to imagine he had to like give the final okay, right? Or that can't be completely out of his hands.
Yeah, I mean like it's cool to have a for sure night game because like you just don't know if Tennessee's going to have a night game. They want to put us at 3:30.
Okay, first off, we're playing Kentucky at 7 p.m. on the coldest day in November. There's no doubt. Doesn't matter if it's in Lexington or Neyland. Like we're playing them on the coldest day in November at night. That's guaranteed. It's a lock. You can do it right now.
No, the last Kentucky game was during the day. It was at like noon.
Yeah, that was in October. It was in the weird time of the year. Like it was in COVID. That doesn't count. You can't count anything from COVID.
I'm not mad about it. I don't like it is what it is.
No, I'm not mad. But what I was gonna say about Danny White is and again, both of them like he did not put into motion. He just kind of had to finalize everything. But now he's playing Charlotte, playing West Virginia at a neutral site game, and he's opening on a Thursday night against Bowling Green. Those are two strange things, and they're his first big announcements as the AD, besides asking fans for more money.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, if you go out there and lose, that looks terrible.
If you lose to Bowling Green, just mail it in. Like, suspend everyone.
It's done.
Get to basketball season and call it a day. Yeah, you can't lose to Bowling Green. That's not an option.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, but we are. Hey, that's a great point. What you said about we are now 2 days closer to football. I definitely will not complain about that.
Exactly.
And
a lot of people are just happy to be back in the stadium. A lot of people haven't been there since 2019. So
yeah, and that's going to be the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
For me, I'll be there. I don't know what the tailgating situation will look like. I don't know if I'll be
tailgating.
I don't know if I'll be exhausted Friday morning at work. But I'll be in Neyland. So,
bro, who is working on Friday? That is a no. I mean, if you got to work Saturday and get off and then head to the stadium, but I'm taking off Friday. I'm not going into work.
Okay, well then, good for Landon's.
I'm still delivered.
Landon's got the better benefits of the two of us, if you can't tell. So he's getting out of there, no problem at all. I'll probably be at work Friday.
I'll say this: My job would not want me at work on Friday. How about that?
That's fair. That's a good point. So yeah, but I am curious to see what happens this weekend if I'll make it to work on Monday. I'm planning on some big partying, celebrating some Vols wins, and we're actually bringing Ross Kivett on right now, assistant coach over at Tennessee. Excited to talk some baseball. Coach, how are you doing tonight?
What's up, guys? You keeping your chili hot, or what are we doing?
Absolutely. Mike Eckler, man, he's on, like, I'm on Twitter a lot. I think he's on Twitter more than I am, which is something to say.
Yeah, man, his Twitter's electric. He was one of my first follows when that new staff got hired. I was like, this guy is awesome. He's always tweeting about his chili being hot, and makes me want to bring energy every day.
Get a chili dog.
Yeah.
I know Caleb's a big chili dog guy.
Big chili dog guy, especially on the golf course.
Oh, I've seen your Twitter. How you hitting them? You break 100 yet?
If I'm keeping score, I always break 100. If one of my buddies are doing it, though, it gets close.
Nice. Yeah, I played with Chad the other day, and one of our buddies, my old roommate Turpin, they smacked me around and made me want to go practice more.
He didn't take you to Getty's View, did he?
No, Chad's rich now. He took me to Iguani.
Oh, okay. All right. There you go.
We won enough games. We're driving by the airport to play.
Oh,
I like that. So have you guys adopted keeping the chili hot there at Lindsey Nelson? Like, is that a saying there now?
Oh, no, not necessarily. but I will say this: the new staff over across the street at football has at least my buddies in town excited, and they'll text me that, after a win, or I think we beat Florida on Saturday, and I got so many chili pepper emojis sent to me from my buddies that they're embracing it, which is good because we need that group to be good, and I think they have the right staff in place to do that.
Absolutely. Well, let's switch things over. I love talking football. We talk about it all the time, but let's switch things over to the Diamond. Y'all got the big news on Monday that we're going to open this thing up and get full capacity in Lindsey Nelson. What was kind of the initial reaction for you guys when y'all got that news?
Oh, juiced. I mean, these guys, they've earned it. And I know V talked about it a little bit after the game last night in his presser, that these guys have worked really hard and they've done everything that they've been asked as far as COVID protocols and class and weight room and practice. And they've shown that you should get behind them. And there's no such thing as bandwagon. That's our deal at our stadium. And it's just bringing the people kind of back in. And they've all wanted back in the whole time. And finally, they're opening it up to no one's left out. There's nobody that's going to be left off the bus for this trip, which I appreciate.
Yeah, so y'all are getting a ton of wins that this program just hasn't gotten in a long time. So what's that kind of been like? Have y'all gotten to really celebrate any of those? The sweep over LSU, the win over Florida. Have y'all gotten to really celebrate any of those, or is it just kind of business as usual and we're on to the next one?
Oh, no, you got to celebrate all wins.
Yeah, even last night.
There's no such thing as a small win in this league.
I was going to answer that for you because the way you all celebrate home runs, which is electric and should never change, this team lives in the moment. So y'all are celebrating them all.
No, there's no such thing as a too small a victory. If you could show me a guy that has, that win's just okay, then that's not a guy I want on my team.
I like
it's
that.
Hard. And this is going to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but people wear us out about some Tuesdays, and we've dropped a couple of Tuesdays, but this league is such a grind, and these guys are just so mentally, physically, spiritually exhausted on Sundays. And then, Monday's a recovery day for us, that to get geared back up on Tuesday, it takes more than you think, especially when you're going to class and you're hitting the weight room and you're on game 39 or 40, but you've already played 40 or 50 fall games. It's hard to get up for those. So I think if I were to be proud, I'm very proud of this group so far, and there's more to come. But one thing I really am proud of is they don't take Tuesdays off, and they don't take any day off for that matter. So to answer your question in a tangent, we celebrate all victories, and we welcome all victories as well. We just try to be 1-0 every day, but we'll be 1-0 in anything.
There you go.
I'm using my old lady's standing desk right now, so I'm kind of awkward, but I haven't moved that much, so that's a 1-0 for me.
I got the TV tray set up, so I mean we're on the same page. We're good.
She just came in here to try and help me push it down, and it won't go down. So I'm like, well, screw it. We got to do it here. We got to do it live.
Exactly. And you opened it with, "Is your chili hot?" I know your chili's hot if you're standing. You can't.
Oh, dude, my feet are killing me. We had practice today. He's running me around all over this place, and now I can't even sit in this comfy chair she's got.
I love it. Hey, so and you talk about this is kind of going into the celebrating the victories. What is it like? Because I know when you all have had the success you've had, and as a coach, you're always looking to fix something. I mean, as a player too. How has that approach been when you're like, yeah, with these things that we're tweaking are small. Thankfully, that's a good thing. But how do you kind of go in with that mentality, especially you're playing the number one team in the nation this week? What's that process been like to get things fixed and tweaked and while still recognizing the success you've had?
Very self-focused players. And that, let's not get that twisted. That doesn't mean selfish. That means self-focused on how to improve every day, and gritty guys that want to do better at all times. And that makes it easy to motivate. I mean, you don't really have to motivate this group. They know what a good work day is and feels like, and the perspective from the coaches. And we don't need to tell them what it is. They know what it is. So as far as tweaks, we worked on some picks and we worked on some bunt coverages, and V will hammer out some approach, especially early in the year. I mean, we'll do some defense stuff, some infield work, but we're not making drastic pitching changes or mechanical changes during the year. We're doing a lot of it is just kind of preparing for whatever that opponent is that weekend or that Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever we play. And so it's really kind of guys getting in there and just being so bored with their routine because they've done it so much. And that's really all it is.
So
sorry to cut you off, and to just kind of jump on to the second half of that question. This league, like I said, this is a man's league. You play so many good teams, and it's every weekend. And even if their record doesn't show it, there's so many good players in this league and draft picks and big leaguers that you don't take a weekend off ever. So we respect Arkansas because we respect all opponents.
Right.
We don't fear. You can't fear anybody.
Mm-hmm.
This team is well put together, especially offensively. They have really good pieces on the front end of their rotation. They have, arguably the best reliever in the entire conference. They're well coached. It's going to be an awesome task. But if you're not competitive and don't get fired up, especially with 100% capacity, then you're not playing for the right head coach.
And that chili's never getting hot if it ain't hot this weekend. It ain't happening.
If you're not full chili peppers right now, I don't even know what he says. Honestly, right before I jumped on this, he tweeted they were playing Rocky Top after 6, and I got geared up. I'm like,
I love it.
Oh, yeah, there's never a dull moment with Eckler. I actually sat right in front of him for a game, and I was talking to him a little bit, and I was like, just what do you think about Knoxville? And he's like, oh, dude. And he went in this huge tangent on like how much he loves Knoxville because it's got so much stuff about it. I mean, he's just electric 24/7. Like, it's just not on Twitter. It's actually in person too.
It's not phony, right? Like, I haven't got to meet him yet, but I think when I do, I'm going to want to, play again. I'm going to just quit this job and try to play independently.
You got some football eligibility left?
No.
You could play linebacker.
I play hockey.
Okay, all right.
So you know how to put on some pads. You could play some linebacker. We need all we can get right now.
Remember when I talked about the fear thing? I would have a lot of fear. I can't even pretend. Evan Russell's a guy you might want to line up at linebacker. He's built like he's kind of cut off.
Yeah, little chiseled, little.
I don't even know what a linebacker is supposed to look like.
His chili's hot.
Oh, Well, come on now. The 3 homer games, he's getting pretty juiced, isn't he, after he hits
Oh
home
my
plate?
gosh, I love it. I love
Hey,
the double dance that he does on second base.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that kid's creative, and he's been creative since we got here, and that's kind of what's gotten him into the lineup. He's just a winner. He kind of knows how to get in there, and even he always talks about, oh, I don't have the most talent, I can't do this. Like, come on, man, you can hit the ball 430 feet. Like, not everyone in the country can do that. So
At 5'11", like 175.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut him off right there, and I'm gonna have to kill the narrative of he's not. He's a talentless guy we just grabbed off the streets. He's a plus defender. He has really good instincts, and he can hit the ball a long way. He's a really good player. And like I said, he's creative. He always finds ways to kind of gain an edge on his opponent, whether it be in a fall game or whether it be a Tuesday or playing a future top 2 pick in the draft. I mean, the guy's just.
And I don't know why people keep testing him in left field to run home. It just seems like a bad idea, but people just keep on doing it.
There are situations where you have to be aggressive, especially who's on the bump for us or how the weekend's kind of gone. And there's times in the game where you can be a little over aggressive. He's just not a guy that you want to do it. And there's guys in our league. I mean, Coach Elander will tell you he runs the third base as well as anyone in this league. And there's some guys that can really throw. And you know what? I got caught this past weekend at Missouri. I thought V might fire me. I got caught testing the right fielder, telling Rucker to tag up there in a pretty big spot, and he got thrown out. So I took my lashings and I had to walk out. It was my fault. That kid can throw it. And like I said, don't look at records in this league. Don't look at records. There's too many good players.
Yeah, Kiefer played a heck of a series against Tennessee this weekend. He's a really good player. And, you talk about this is a man's league. I mean, I think the beginning of last weekend we looked and LSU was in the bottom 4, and they have as much talent as anybody. I mean, they're young, but yeah, they have as much talent as anybody in this league.
No disrespect to anyone on our team or anyone that we've played. They have arguably the best 2 freshmen in the entire country, not just the league. I mean, Cruz and Morgan. You start a team with those 2 guys, you're gonna have a fun 3 years because they ain't staying there for 4.
Oh yeah.
They're as good as they come, and we knew that it was young when we got them, and they played us tough. They'll be a reckon here coming up the next 2 weeks and then into the tournament. So that's definitely a scouting report that we have adjusted since we played them. Coach McCann, our scouting, and myself. So Frank will have fun if we run into those guys in Hoover.
Yeah. So speaking of during scouting and things like that, when y'all sit down in the off season and y'all look at what you have and things like that, did you ever think like we'd be sitting here in May, maybe, full capacity for one, and then, potentially hosting a regional and a super regional at that?
I'm going to say no because of the question, but let me move on, or let me kind of expand on that. No, because I didn't know if we'd play 56 games.
Right.
I didn't know with the protocols if we'd have enough guys to play every game. I didn't know that if there'd be a vaccine. I didn't know if there would be restrictions to fans or family or players or roster size. And I didn't know what we really had coming back as far as are these guys going to be able to take that next step without a true fall and true summer? Are our freshmen going to be able to adjust without taking that summer course and getting that college life out of the way before they have to really start competing in the fall, which then helps them in the spring? I didn't know any of that. And none of us did. No team in the country did. But everyone on paper, you think, man, this team's loaded. Well, every team's loaded because you got everybody back.
Right.
So for us to be standing where we are right now, we're not the tallest, guy in the bunch right now. You're tied for the tallest, but you can get your legs taken out pretty easy. So I did like how competitive the group we brought back on paper was. I did like the experience because the positions that we are experienced is important. Catcher, outfield with Russell, bullpen with Hunley and Redmond, and a few others like Sewell. And then I did like the starting pitcher with Chad Dallas. It's hard to not root for that guy. Plus, I'm a little biased because I work with him every day, but that infield ain't too shabby as well. With Luke Lipsius being the oldest guy in that group, but a veteran whose brother was really talented, and he's got more power than him, and he's starting to really get going. So I thought on paper we'd be pretty good, but you never know with what the world is going through.
Right. So you're kind of like the defensive coordinator, if you will. I'll see you directing traffic in the dugout. So kind of talk about that experience of that infield.
Since I'm standing, I can do this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to earn my per diem, moving guys over. It's a bunch of wash because half the time I'm putting Gilbert in the wrong spot and he's making me look good. So, no, I do. It's important to Frank, and he's, I mean, again, I'm biased, but if you can give me a better pitching coach, then I'd love to see the resumes against each other because I don't think there is one.
Right.
And I've learned so much from him, and not just on positioning, but reading swings. And I really took pride in defense when I was playing, especially in college. So I've always liked that aspect of baseball, even though it is a little bit slower of a game than, say, football or hockey or, whatever, basketball, where defense in basketball isn't even emphasized anymore. But a good, like you said, you're talking about linebackers because you know what the game is. It's becoming more athletic because the kids nowadays, this generation of kids had to be created in tubes. It's incredible how talented they are. They're all freaky. I mean, Jordan Beck is a freak in nature. You know what I mean? Yeah. Max Ferguson is athletic as it gets, and it's like, how do you prepare for teams like Florida and Vanderbilt and Arkansas and LSU and so many others that have a bunch of freaks, and that part I've learned the most about from Frank, and he simplified it to the best he can, and it's fun to kind of navigate traffic. I wish they didn't put the camera on you so much because it kind of looks like look at me, but really I'm just doing the stuff they're telling me to do and putting my own kind of twist of signals to it.
So with that infield, what how does that experience and just having so many veterans with that group of guys, what does that do for a team like this?
Well, it starts in the middle, and those two guys are roommates and best friends, and their chemistry is pretty real. I'm talking obviously about Spence and Ferguson. Rutgers probably got, I'd say, top 5 games played in the SEC, and you could fact check me on that, but he's played every day since he was a freshman. So he's got experience in the league that, I mean, not to crush Max, but not necessarily, he didn't play a lot. He got hurt against Kentucky when he started to get some SEC at-bats when he was playing first base as a freshman. And Liam has never played in this league, and Luke Lipsius has never been healthy. So this is the first full year that we've had this group really together, and Rutgers kind of the catalyst on experience, but the two guys loving each other like they do in the middle, it makes it easier. Not to mention they're pretty good athletes, and they bring plus tool sets as far as how they move. But it makes it easier to run a unit when they like each other, surprising enough.
Yeah, and they're you mentioned they're roommates, and then they're 1 and 2 in the lineup, and then I know they're with each other all the time. So I'm sure there's those brotherly fights, but yeah, it's all love in the end.
I don't do the Aussie's not much of a fighter. Now I'm going to use my phrase of "don't get it twisted." Booker will be proud of me, but don't get it twisted. He's a killer in between the lines, but he's not much of a fighter off. It's kind of his mentality. I think that's what makes him so good. He's just so laid back.
Yeah, and Tony V kind of talked about his, not getting national exposure in his presser the other night, and what if you could give your pitch on what makes Liam Spence so special? I mean, the kid, like 0-2, 3-0, I mean, whatever the count is, it doesn't matter to him. He is the same facial expression, same attitude every single time. So what just makes him special?
Oh, consistent. You hit it on the head there. But how about toughness? I mean, playing through a lower leg injury for 3 weeks in the middle of the SEC season and not missing a beat as far as with the bat. Teammate. I mean, guys just love him in the locker room because they know he's playing for the name across his chest or the power T or however you want to put it, that cliche. It couldn't be more true for him. But But when you know what you're going to get every day, it's so much easier to coach that. No mood swings, like you said. It's just steady Eddie at all times, smile on his face. Whether he'd be attacking rehab or some recovery stuff, or whether he'd be doing some extra stuff in the infield or taking his swings in the cage. You same guy every single day. And honestly, it would be call whoever you need to call the cops if he were to change because something is drastically wrong. And not to give him too much credit, he's got 2 older brothers, one pitched in the big leagues, and his family is one of a kind. And he's been raised that way, where you take this game and you respect it and you take it seriously, but you play it really hard and you play it the same way, no matter what the score is, no matter how you're going, no matter how you feel. You do it the same way, the same pace, your way all the time.
Yeah, and I've got a question about this series. So this weekend, 100% capacity. It's this isn't a baseball question per se, but
I don't like too much baseball.
100% capacity. Emotions are going to be high. This team has attitude, and I think it's because of the head coach. He's got some attitude to him.
Oh, yeah.
If you had to, and I think too, there's some strategy to the ejection of the head coach. I think has he only been ejected once this season? Just once,
and that was kind of, I don't want to get fined because I don't make any money, but that one was not
emotional.
Necessarily the classiest ejection from the guy that threw him out.
Yeah, it was just it's emotional.
He was walking away. You don't throw somebody out when they're walking away.
No, that's what we would call in professional baseball. So if the SEC is listening to this is strictly on professional baseball only. That is a cowardly way to do it. You don't throw a guy out when he's not looking at you. If you have something to say, you make sure you say it to him. He turns around and then you point to the tallest cloud. But you can't do it that way. But to answer your question, the strategy on it, there's times where you're trying to fire the boys up.
Yeah. How do you rate his? So obviously that ejection, can't do much about it. The boy behind the plate wasn't going to help you out. But how would you rate his ejection game? Because there is some strategy.
You know what? I think he is so direct that I don't think these umpires they don't process it fast enough to actually throw him out. So when he actually hits you with how he feels right off the jump, you're like, hold on, did he really just say that? And next thing you know, he's on to the next point, and then he's off the field. So I think he would like to stay in all games, but he is not going to sit there and let his group, who he loves more than anything in this world, take a beating or take abuse or take,
get cheated.
Yeah,
he ain't taking it. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and that's why I think the fans have gravitated to this team for 2 reasons. One, you guys are winning. Everyone loves the winners. 2, the attitude. I think if you take the wins away and the attitude's still there, the fans are loving it. It just seems like it emulates this fan base. And me and Landon have speculated. We're like, it just looks like Tony V's group out there. Like it looks like, and the whole coaching staff. Like it just looks like your all's personalities. It's a fun group to watch, man.
When you walk into a building and you don't have to change who you are to fit in, it's powerful. And not to get deep on you, but there's not one player that walks in there and thinks, oh gosh, I have to tuck my shirt in or put my phone away or do this like it's class. You get to be yourself. Personality is welcomed, but hard work is mandatory. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
I mean, you can't be who you are and joke around and be, loose guy, but not put the work in. And he's got that steady balance of keeping everything loose, but also making sure that we're focused on the task, whether it be in practice or a game, that these guys really have bought into. And you want to talk about attitude. He's got a lot of it, right? Well, so does Drew Gilbert.
Yeah,
so
no, for sure.
Russell. And so does Chad Dallas. And I think he did a really good job of putting together a group that emulates what he's, truly bought in since he started coaching. And that's attitude will overcome some deficiencies, and that's happened.
I want to talk about Drew Gilbert a little bit because I was watching him. I mean, I watched him all season, but like watching him on the mound last night, and he's just like, when he walks, he's always like on a mission. He's always like in a hurry. Is that just him 24/7, just on a mission? Like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm here to do.
Oh, he's a psychopath. He is. And I don't think he'd be offended at me. I think he'd take that honestly as a compliment.
Right. Because he's a psychopath.
And you know what? It's crazy because a lot of the times where it may look like he's on an umpire or a guy from the other team or a teammate, it's on himself. And that's the craziest part about it is, I mean, there's been times this year where I've told umpires, like, hey, when you have the plate tomorrow, if Drew ever does any of the stuff you're seeing, it's not about you. He doesn't care about balls or strikes. He doesn't care if it was close. He doesn't care if it wasn't. He's not mad at you. He's mad at himself. So you don't ever throw this cat out because he's never talking directly to you. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, seriously, people have told us that have had you guys before. And I'm like, I'm not lying. I mean, there's plenty of guys on this team that you could be like, this is what our team is. I mean, not many guys have more guts than that cat. I mean, he ain't afraid of anybody. He ain't afraid of any situation. He ain't afraid of any task. And he does it very well.
You talked about, you've told me a couple of times that he's just built different. And I read up on him a little bit, from high school when he, led his team to a state championship and he actually signed with Oregon State. What was that kind of like to get him to Knoxville?
You know what? I'll get in trouble for this one. I'll tell you the story. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it, but when he decommitted, we got a text in our coaches thread that said, the program changer is loose. And we're like, what the heck does that mean? Well, that was coming from 22. That was coming from Vitello. And we're like, okay, well, what do you got? He goes, I'm on the phone with Drew Gilbert, a left-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter from Minnesota, Stillwater, Minnesota. He isn't going to Oregon State anymore. And we're going to get him. And I said, well, I mean, it's in the middle of the summer. I'm like, do we have any room for him? He goes, well, we're going to get him, whatever it takes. And I think him and his family felt that. And we don't treat anybody with favoritism. We really don't. Everyone is equal in this program, which is probably why we start the most walk-on players in the entire country, because you earn your playing time and everything, like I said earlier, that you get, you have earned. And Drew Gilbert has gotten everything that he's earned, but I will never forget the text message that came in. And it was like 11 p.m. And it was like the next three texts were like, Chad, find a way to get this official set up. We need a flight. If I need to fly and pick him up and drive him back, I'll drive him back. Like it was an intense few hours where I didn't go to bed that night till probably 2:30 because we were setting up as official. And honestly, I was nervous during it. And I'm never nervous around the plays, but I knew 22 wanted it so bad and he wanted him so bad that I was like, man, we gotta blow it out. And I probably stumbled my words like I've done on here a few times. His mom probably fact-checked me on a few of my stories from one of my playing days. But at the end of the day, him, like so many others, they made the right choice, and they've really helped build this to what it should be.
Yeah, I just love his attitude. And, like you mentioned, he's not afraid of anything. That showed in that LSU series. The kid, no matter what opposing pitcher, you don't want Drew Gilbert to come to bat. And that goes for a lot of people in this lineup. You look 1 through 9. I mean, it'd be hard to intentionally walk somebody because the next person could go yard at any point. So, that's what makes this team so fun to watch throughout this entire season. What are y'all kind of looking forward to this weekend? And obviously full capacity, but like as far as an atmosphere and what you're getting with Arkansas, what are you guys kind of looking for?
Hey, that was going to be my answers. We're just happy to see everybody again. I mean, there's been some people that have been with us since we were shooting in the gym, and we were only a 12-win SEC team that haven't been able to get into the stadium, whether it be because of restrictions or maybe they weren't feeling too comfortable with it and they missed out on some season tickets or tickets in general. And that's the text that we're getting is, hey, we're back, and they feel like they're part of this ride. And our guys feel that. I think what I'm most excited about is this isn't the first big crowd of the year anymore.
Right.
And that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. The Club West that's a really well coached team with a lot of good players. And we played them tougher than the score. And ran into a buzzsaw, probably a top 2 pick on Friday night, and then got after a guy who's going to be a top 2 pick the next night, and then, just kind of ran out of gas. But like he said, I think we ran out of gas more emotionally. Now our guys have been through it, and they know what it takes to have a full weekend of this, where ball fans are awesome, man. I mean, they're incredible. I mean, they're so passionate, it freaks me out. Like, I need to change my address or my email or my, like, hey, guys, we got picked off first base. That's Rucker's fault, not mine, okay?
I love it. I love it.
Don't come take my puppy. But I think honestly, what I'm most excited about is that these guys can handle a 3-round fight, and that's what it is. It's not like football. It's not like basketball. It's 3 rounds, and if you get 2 of them, that's awesome. That's what you play for. And I think now our guys know, hey, if we want to win 2 of these 3, I mean, just all-out heavyweight battle, you got to keep the emotions steady Eddie, like you're riding in a jet ski, not like a roller coaster, you know?
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that Vanderbilt series. Obviously, you're fans first, so I'm biased as crap, and it's just the way it goes. But I think a lot of like the national guys were waiting on that Vanderbilt weekend, going, we can finally drop Tennessee. The talent's not there. They're not quite with Vanderbilt or the Arkansas or looking across the country, whatever. And the Vanderbilt series arrives, and yeah, you drop them, but you were in there. You were in those games, and those games are tough. They're emotional. They're really emotional. Mistakes are highlighted because you've got good guys on the other side that, to take advantage of them there. And but the fact that Tennessee hung around, I think a lot of guys, you're like, oh, they lost. You walk away, they lost. But anybody that watched that series was like, this team's for real. And I think it turned a lot of people into fans of Tennessee baseball. I know I've been following along I'm going to forget their name now. What's the new podcast, Landon?
Kicking It with Kiv.
No. The new baseball podcast. I do love Kicking It with Kiv, but there's a new. We'll get that one in later.
The bat flip.
No, the new pod, like the National Baseball.
Yeah,
Landon's plugging them.
I'm plugging everybody. I don't like what.
It's some new national
11.7.
11.7. Like those guys,
yes.
I've been tuning into them, and they're Tennessee guys now. And you guys are just the way you all play. It attracts people, man. And everyone saw that Vanderbilt series and was like, "This team's for real. Let's ride with them."
Well, when Gilbert hits a homer and he flips his bat into the third row, it's easy to get.
Yeah, I mean,
did he give
baseball, making baseball fun?
Did he gift that to the Vol Creatures?
Hey man, he basically might as well have. It would have knocked their funnel out. But I think I do think there's some love still to this day for teams that play it the right way, and that doesn't mean you punch a guy out in this league in a big situation. Go nuts! No,
yeah.
You will never see our team led by our guy. Our 22 will never ever get after a guy or a coach or an opposing team for showing them up. You're not showing them up. You're showing emotion, which this game needs more of to get 11.7 on board, or to get the average baseball fan on board with, especially with the Vols. So I think one of the more exciting things about kind of getting some more pub is just these guys again are being rewarded for their efforts since August.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that personality too. Like you guys just welcome that, and Vitale was one who he jumped on the when they won that game. I forget who it was. It was probably LSU when he jumped on the pile. I mean, that's awesome. That's what you cheer for. That's what people in the stands want to see.
Sure, and I again younger staff, so we're a little bit more. We're not as disconnected from when we played, and. Dude, we get geared up. I mean, I jumped up basically my 13-inch vertical, not really like 3-inch vertical, on the third Russell home run. I mean,
how could you not?
I mean, when you put in, and you guys know because you're doing this podcast, and it's really good, and you're doing it twice a week, and your show prep is so much, and you guys are talking to each other constantly about how you got to do a perfect show, and you finally go in and you hit a perfect show, and Eckler's chili's hot, and he's texting about it, and he's like, I love those guys that have more important issues. It feels good. So when you watch Evan Russell on a Monday go in there and hit off a tee for 35 minutes and then get a set on the spinball machine, or he dials up on our one machine what the pitcher will be on Friday, and he takes the guy deep, after a full week of practice in a Tuesday game, you get juice for them, man. I mean, if you don't, then why am I in this business? And you want to see the kids succeed. This isn't about me. I had my chance. Did not work out. But now I get a chance to help these guys hopefully work out. And when you get to see hard work come to a head, there's no better feeling. I mean, and 22 tries to hold down, like, poise on his thing, like, you understand? Inside, he knows how much work that kid has put into the weight room, nutrition, academics, practice that week. He knows what goes into it, and inside he's just beaming.
And I hate to kind of flip to. I mean, obviously, you keep bragging on them because the team's been amazing this year. But we want all fans, all players, all coaches. They want the big celebration. They want the Omaha. They want to win it all. If you had to look at this team, looking at this team, because I'm sure the way you all evaluate them day in and day out, you in the back of your mind, whether you say it or not, you're thinking about the big one. If this team goes to Omaha, what's one thing that you're going, we've got to figure this out? Or do you think it's just, hey, keep doing what we're doing, and if we take care of business, if we do what we need to do each night, it'll all work out?
Oh, no cop-out answers. I'm not the head coach. So
I like it. There you go. I was just giving it to you in case.
No. We got to find a way to get the 2 or 3 outs between, let's just say, Cheese and Hundley. Who's going to come in with the runner at first and get that out? Who's going to come in and get that lefty out? Who's going to come in and, it's the 5th and Cheese is maxed, and we need 6 outs to get the Hundley? Who's going to be that guy? The other thing I would say is who's going to get the big 2-out hit with the bases loaded? Mm-hmm. Hey, we get just as many statistics as you guys get. We know how many we leave on. Not a huge deal in our opinion, because when you have traffic on the bases, more times than not, it turns out in favor of the home team or the offense. But there's going to be a big moment with 2 outs and the bases loaded, which has happened already, which we are more than prepared for because we've worked on it now in game and in practice, where someone's going to flat bat a ball into a gap, and it's going to be a huge moment for this university. But who's going to be that guy would be my question. Other than that, I think just continuing to throw strikes and play defense always gives you a chance. If you could play catch, you have a chance all the time. You don't need to hit 4 home runs in a game. That has been proven. Chad has given up 4 solo homers in a game, and we've won that game. So for us, I think it's who's going to be kind of that bridge guy. And there's definitely some candidates. They just have to prove it. And what better time than this weekend or over the next 2 or 3 weeks? And then who's going to be the big hit? We've had some big hits, sure. But who's going to be the big hit with the bases loaded, down 2 and 2 outs? Who's going to be that guy? And I'm more excited than nervous about it. I'm more excited to see who it's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have a lineup that's hitting the ball like they are right now, I mean, it's definitely exciting. Preparing for Arkansas, and you mentioned that you don't really tweak a lot of things. But like, how do you, Tennessee can hit bombs. They can hit home runs with the best of them, but they also can play small ball, steal some bases. I know looking at Arkansas, they hit a ton of home runs, not a lot of sack bunts, but Tennessee can do both those things. So how do you play a team like an Arkansas that doesn't like to play a small ball, or do you just stay to your own and just play that way?
See, that's the thing is, that meme with the Spider-Man that points at the other Spider-Man? This matchup is more like that offensively than one might think on the outside. They might not bunt a lot, but they'll move some guys, and they'll swing behind the movement, like hit and run or run and hit. Yeah. And they'll play some first to third, and sure, we might bunt more than the next guy, but we set up some first and thirds, first and second swing aways. I mean, there's opportunities that we passed on bunting for a big hit, just like Arkansas will. So offensively, they're a wrecking. I mean, they're a good team. They have a lot of really good players, some that were recruited by Coach Vitello. So I think when you're looking at their offense as a whole, you have to treat each guy as an individual threat, and then it's risk reward. Who would you rather pitch to in this situation? How is Frank going to mix speeds? How's Cheese going to attack the inside part of the zone when the wind might be blowing out with, no fear? I'm going in there and getting the thumb. That's something that we've definitely looked at over the last 24 hours, and we'll continue to do so until we put together the final report at 5 tomorrow. I think that they have a really talented player in their 3-hole who's probably going to be an All-American, who we're going to have to definitely respect. But at the end of the day, they do the Spider-Man meme. They don't stretch the zone, and they'll take their walks just like the Vols will. So you got to throw more strikes.
Yeah, I think this weekend we actually passed them in walks for the SEC lead. But yeah, just you mentioned it earlier. You leave some runners on, and that's always been where somebody might poke at you guys, but you're putting them on. So I mean, that's half the battle at that point.
I love that you called me out. I'm stupid. I don't know, and I've said it. But I've also, to be fair, I've always said I'm definitely nitpicking. You can't. First off, the guys are on base. You can't complain there.
I'm not even calling you out. I have 3 or 4 other names in my. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a fair criticism. I'm not. We like criticism. You guys have never met Frank.
Hey, I'm dumb though, so you don't have to. And hey, I have seen you on Twitter calling some people out too.
Well,
I'm always there to retweet
I don't like
it.
Name calling. I don't like name calling. I do not like criticism. I don't like name calling. Remember, these kids are 19 to 22 years old. You were that age once. There is some growing pains, but now when you win, it's easier to teach when you win, Absolutely. So that specific instance, which I'm smiling at, that happened after a win, so I had a little fun. But
and just know every Vol fan was on your side. Like, there's just no doubt, just so you know.
Hey, I will say this, that I went to a university, and not to smack talk people, but there wasn't as much, media involved than there is here, and I welcome. I think everyone works really hard. I think the one thing I will say about the traffic that we have is we grade out players differently. We think kind of like Waterboy, batting average is the devil type deal. We grade players out. So when you take a walk, it's almost like you hit a double with our group. And traffic is good. But like I said, and where the criticism is fair, we need to start knocking down those runs now late in the season. Early in the season, I get it. It's you playing with tension and you want to do great. You want to get to a hot start. Well, now throw every statistic out the window. Nothing matters. The only one that matters is the left column. So however you got to get it done, you just got to get it done. And I think that's truly bought in, like you saw yesterday. That was for 7 innings. That's what this offense can do, especially when they get 3 90s.
Yeah, just kind of leaning on people. They scored that, first 4 in the first, and then kind of had a run or 2 each inning up until that 7th, and then, Tennessee Tech just had a couple good innings. Yeah,
Coach Nylander, who does our hitting, has a statistic that he holds dear to his heart, and it's a quality at bat. And when you grind a pitcher out for 9, 10, 11, 12 pitches, you might not get on. You might even strike out. You would qualify for a quality at bat because the guy on deck just saw 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pitches. And what do you think usually happens when that happens? First pitch, double, or first pitch homer, and he looks like the hero. But really, when he's coming in the dugout, he's giving a huge hug to the guy in front of him. Like, did you set that up? Like hockey assist,
It's probably Liam Spence. He's had a lot of those quality at bats you're talking about.
Oh yeah, he's definitely the first one that comes to mind. But don't look at the batting average on Luke Lipsius. His hard contact rate is like crazy high, like with the highest on our team. And he's had so many quality at bats where there's no success attached to him that we count as a win. So he's another guy that gets a lot of hugs. Obviously, Max has been playing a lot better here of late and just playing ball, being himself. He's so athletic. And Jake Rucker's the next guy that comes to mind of a guy that's like, damn, he's always in this quad sheet. Like, he's always getting 3 or 4 a night. And whether he gets a hit or not, it's like, man, he is a pain in the rear for these pitchers.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
I've got one more question.
Oh, yeah,
it's actually a favor.
I got nothing else.
Perfect. So with the new success, the new fans,
Chili's hot.
Chili's always hot. New fans, new stadiums in talks. Money's coming in.
Sure.
I hope you all should be your staff. The staff that you guys have on campus have pretty much built this from. I mean, it's a phoenix from the ashes. You all should be a part of the new talk. So I'm gonna throw it in for you because don't know if I'll ever get to talk to Danny White. We need right field to be we need it number one to be general admission, standing room only, Tequila Tuesdays. I don't know what you got to make it happen.
Why do we have to have? We should do that tomorrow or Friday. We should. That would get that crowd.
Tequila Saturdays. I'm liking it.
I'm a tequila every day, but definitely I think you talked about it your first time on celebrating your game there for was it when you were in Michigan? Is that right?
Yeah, I was in Traverse City. That was I got the phone call to come here the next morning. And I was hurting, boy. Oh, was I hurting. Chili was not hot that morning. I think seriously though, I mean, Tony gets paid the big bucks to help make that decision. So maybe we shoot him a tweet on the Twitter he never uses and see if they respond.
Yeah, I need the general admission, need the right field rowdies. It needs to get that is right field's a forgotten area anyways as it goes. So let those people just get rowdy, man. I think you got to leave the legends. See, you got to connect them somehow because the legends
behind the dugout.
Yeah, they got to be on the. That's the problem, man. That's the problem. Is right field should be loud, but they do such a good job. You don't want to take them. Don't want to put them too far out there.
Hey, I'll say this. I know school's out, but they did a great job, man.
Yeah.
They were, they got a hard time on Twitter from some opposing fans, but they were pretty classy for the most part. They were. Here's what I liked the best about them. They would self-police. So if there's anything that was in the gray area or across the line, they would self-police it, and they would get rid of that person, or that person would have to take a lap or sitting in and off or whatever it was. But I will say this: with the full capacity, there still are student tickets. So if there's students that are in here or still in town that want to come and support, we'd love to have you. If you've never been to a baseball game, it'd be a great weekend to kind of get your feet wet, so to say, and then hopefully in June, first week of June, there's also an opportunity for you to come. But there's no such thing as too late to the party, right?
100%.
Especially if the party's still going. So if the party's hot, you might as well jump in. You never know what you're gonna fall into. So for me, I think I think we have 200 student tickets that are going to go to students only. So use them. Come, bring your friends. If you're from Chattanooga or Johnson City or 45 minutes away, get in the car and do it. You could stay at Gilbert's house.
I like it.
He probably love it.
No, I think too with the capacity thing, just because I'm thinking about it and I have ADD, is this will be the first time this organization or this program since 2005 has felt the energy that Vol Nation can bring. And that's not a diss at Vol Nation that we haven't deserved it, the first 3 years, because like you said, winning brings out some different creatures and so does playing the right way. And I think there's definitely a good mix of both where you are not wasting your time coming out on Friday night. You're just not.
Yeah, I think 2020 probably would have been, having that success in 2019 really kind of perked people's ears up. Sure. But then I think 2020
six lefty throwing 100 would that have jumped out of the game?
Yeah, that probably would have helped out a little bit.
I would have probably got some people.
Man, he would have ruined some, like the mix of Garrett Crochet and the legends. They would have ruined some people's careers. Like there's no doubt in my mind.
I mean, Trey Morgan is one of the best players in this country, and they ruined him that weekend. Yeah. Except for, I think he had a good day on Sunday. But.
Yeah.
He ended up getting a couple of hits the next day. But I will say this. They definitely were in there because, obviously I'm standing right next to the first baseman. And you'll see the guys that are starting to crack, and I'll go say something to the runner, and they'll mention it to me. I'm trying to be cordial. I'm still a coach. I'm like, just don't let it get to you. I'm walking back like, man, keep going. You got him. You got him.
They're in their head.
You're getting them. Maybe you'll strike out with guys in second and third and one out and give Heflin a shot. The next pitch. So I think what's great is about coming on here. Besides, you guys are so welcoming. Is I've literally mentioned probably 8 or 9 players, and I haven't even really mentioned any of the pitchers. We could have gone an hour on this group. And I think a lot of that has to do with how talented they are, one, but just how they've come together in such a short time I say short time. With protocol, we were super strict on protocol. So guys weren't getting team meals. Guys weren't able to share locker rooms, or they had separate areas. They couldn't even get dressed at the field. They were fighting protocols the whole time. And for them to be able to still come together as a group, especially, through unbelievable adversity that this country's gone through, and I'm not underselling the pandemic or saying that baseball is more important, so don't get that twisted if they're done. But
Noted.
It's pretty nice to see these guys, and boy, do they make it fun to come to work. Boy, do they. I'm actually excited to get to work tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're
excited
earlier.
Yeah.
Class. Maybe Coach V will let me hit 9 after practice.
There you go.
So I can beat you.
That I was gonna say that too before you hopped off. I've played in tournaments, seen Zerk, and we never played together. So we'll have to get a group together and play. And Iguani eats me up, man. I feel like we're gonna have to find another place in Knoxville.
I mean, I could pump the recruiting bends here and let everyone know how nice Knoxville is, but us three know the golf courses are so underrated. I mean, we've played 4 or 5, and some are a little bit cheaper than others, but I mean, the places in Knoxville, they do such a good job of keeping them together. And I've yet to have a round where I'm like, man, that course was choppy, or boy, this course sucks. I'm like, man, this is brutal. I'm like, man,
right.
Iguani, I'm about to shoot 112. This is the most fun I've had in so long. Or even like going west to like a Dead Horse, or Springs. I mean, anywhere you play here, you're going to have a good round, which I appreciate. My dad likes it
for
too
sure.
when he visits.
Perfect. And I'm actually a member up at Sevierville, so you'll have to 2 nice courses up at Sevierville.
Oh, I played there. I actually, shout out to my buddy. He had a hole-in-one first time I played there.
Dang, what hole do you know?
It's the par 3. I think it's like 5, where you have to kind of shoot it, and it's a little bit elevated on the hill. And we were playing the tip, so he had to go. Don't make fun of him. I think he might have checked down a driver, but he hit it early and it skipped in. And I went bonkers where the people were like, "Hey man, you got to still chill out." I was like, just got a hole-in-one.
Yeah, I'm not chilling out. Yeah,
that's
awesome.
That's a free
amazing.
game at like any putt place.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm calling Jacqueline for a ride home or an Uber. I'm not. We're going to the clubhouse, boy. So. But I really do appreciate it, guys, and I take up way too much of your time. These people.
Oh no, we enjoy it. I mean, we don't have anything else to do.
I've already got you on the calendar for another, because you said you can go another hour, so we've got just talking pitchers.
Yeah, we could. I mean, there's quirky. I like our offense has some energy and has some attitude, but our pitchers just weirdos. Like they all are. Like everyone's like, Huntley's so calm, and I'm like, yeah, because he's a zombie. He's a weirdo. And like, you got.
What about is Kirby? What about Kirby? He seems to be
great kid, man. But hey, he built in like he's cowboy hat, boots guy, mustache, like he
has some swag to him.
Great teammate, man. And that's kind of how you judge these guys. Is like, if you're not going good or if you're not in there, what are you doing on the bench? And Kirby is involved in every single pitch. And he does such a good job with being a good teammate. And I think, I mean, not to get weird about karma or something, but the baseball gods they give you a little bit more in your favor when you're a good teammate. And Kirby's definitely reaping some of those benefits.
Yeah, when he
break, yes, last night, my group kind of freaking catch him and throw it over there. So we'll address that in the morning when they're buying me breakfast.
We when Kirby went, and I forget, it might have been Florida, when he went and beat the first base coach to the baseball down the line. I mean, ball creatures, they went nuts. I was like, oh man, that's awesome to see.
Yeah, you know what? He's just a great family. Brother and sister are close to here, but he's from North Carolina. Actually, I think he's from South Carolina. I have to double check the shit. Know your team, dude. But all I know is he's low maintenance, whatever it takes, coach kind of guy. And you need to have some of those, and you also need to have some F off Kiv like Drew Gilbert will give you. Yeah. So you have a good mix of this group.
Well, you got a busy schedule, especially with postseason play, but then you got, some camp sessions starting up in June. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'll hit that. I think we're just excited because the one thing about youth camp in this area is you get to meet all the kids that eventually are now in high school and they're tearing it up. I mean, I'm a senior here, guys. This is year 4. So some of the kids that I had in youth camp are like players of the year in the local Knoxville high school league. And I'm like, This is insane. I'm so old. But so we'll start camps in June. So our prospect camps start June 14th. Hopefully we're still playing, but we'll still run them. The NCAA dead period ends June 1st for everybody. However, for baseball, it's still dead. The first week of regional is a dead period, and they're keeping it for some reason. Like, it's been dead for almost 16 months, but who cares about volunteers? So we'll open up June 8th, and our first camp will be that next Monday. And then we'll have one Thursday and Friday, which I titled Post-Pandemic Party, which is 8th graders to like seniors. And then we have 3 weeks of youth camp, bang, 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 the last 3 weeks of June. July is loaded. And I think, I don't have it in front of me, but it's almost every day in July. So if you're interested, TennesseeBaseballCamp.com. My email's on there. You can get my email on the website if you hear this and you want to shout me out. But it's more for our managers. It's more for our student assistants, our grad assistants that work so hard, that have been doing this thankless job for free, and they're doing it at an elite level. So hopefully they can come and make your kid's day, and then we can, reimburse them on the back end.
Yeah, it's just a great opportunity for, prospect camp for one thing, and then just, the kids, they see this excitement around the program, and, I'm sure that that's going to be packed full of kids. I sat in front of 2 kids yesterday, and they're like, can we stay all 9 innings? I mean, what 6-year-old kid is wanting to stay 9 innings at a baseball game against, no offense to Tennessee Tech, but on a Tuesday, a midweek game?
Well, it's the kids that want ice cream and hot dogs. Those are the ones that want to stay all 9 innings.
Yeah,
it's been great, man. Hey, I mean it. Like, I say it, and I'm biased, obviously. I think this is the best fan base in the country, but it's been awesome. Even at limited crowds, it's been awesome. And you're meeting so many new people. But one thing I will say is one of the benefits of our camps is that campers get to see our place. And we've done so much to it over the last 16 months that just coming and seeing it is worth the price of admission, in my opinion.
I might have to pay it and me and Kayla will take some ground balls in the infield, take a little infield, see what happens.
Hey, that's what those managers get paid the big bucks to do, is hit the ground balls. I'll be sitting in the chair. With a bucket hat and SPF 150, making sure I'm not getting any skin fragments here. No, but another unique thing, if you don't mind me jumping in here, is our prospect camps. Our head coach is more involved than probably anybody, on staff at our camps. I mean, he's running around. He might as well just participate. How involved he is, and he doesn't miss a minute of it. So it's really neat to see the head guy who's, you can search his salary and his resume of wins, but he's involved in every single one. He doesn't care what time they start or what time they finish. He's just choose to be there. And same with our whole staff. I mean, Coach Elander hasn't missed one, and he's away from his family more than anyone on the road recruiting. And he makes sure he comes back for our camps. And obviously, I don't know if Frank's left his office since he got the job. So I don't know if something's going on where I need to ask him, but I don't know how much HBO Max he can watch in that office anymore. He needs to be doing an Arkansas report and sending it over to me.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
Well, hey, kid, we really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yep.
Always a good time. We'll have to do it, all the time.
Yeah.
We'd love to.
Hopefully, the NCAA gets it right here at the end of the week, and we're in that group where maybe we could chat it up before the first regional in Knoxville. But that's getting way ahead of the game. I'm focused on Friday, 1-0, Coach V. I'm focused on breakfast, and then I'm focused on practice, and then I'm focused on making sure that I'm eating the Sono after. No free ads, but Sono on Thursdays for the Vols. And then I'm 1-0 on my sleep, 1-0 on my breakfast on Friday, and then we'll go from there.
There you go. Hey, don't tempt me with some Sono. We're big Sono guys, so we're all about the Sono taco.
Is Thursday Cinco?
Oh, Thursday, Sono for the boys, especially if they have a good work week. They have a good work week. There's some queso and churros. Zerker's bringing it up.
That's awesome.
That's what Coach Gibbs bringing home is some churros. We're not afraid to get after him here.
Hey, talking to two South Knoxville guys, so of course we love to hear that.
Exactly.
Well,
So, all right, boys. Well, you be good. Let me know if you need anything else, and would love to come on before, like I said, that first week in June. Hopefully, it's a fun weekend this weekend. And remember to tell the Vol Nation that it's a 3-round fight, not just one.
That's right.
Fight. So
got to keep your chili hot for 3 rounds.
Hey, you got to have that chili hot for 3 rounds. Tell Coach Eckler I expect him to be in the first row, face painted, whatever the checkerboard is on Saturday, and ready to get after it. It's going to be a fun one. Hey, bunch of big leaguers going to be playing on this tour here this weekend. So enjoy it.
I'm sure the scout section will be filled up.
It will. It hasn't been like this in a while, so you need to enjoy it. Don't be critical until after. Okay, name call me because I'm making a bad decision.
Yeah, and take it up with the first base coach.
Take it up with the first base coach. I make all the bad decisions. Okay?
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. Good luck this weekend.
Always. Thanks for having me. See you,
man.
And that was Coach awesome. Ross Kivett. Dude, like, can we just end the show? Like, I don't even know if we should do. Like, we're gonna have to extend an offer for him to be the third co-host and just bring him on full time. I don't know if Tony V will give him up. I don't know, but we're gonna have to figure out. We'll drop the contract stuff tomorrow.
Find a way. Good teams find a way, right?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I'm gonna grab my phone charger while my laptop charger about to die. 100%. It's not on 100%. Let's talk Dejoun Terry, though, committed to Tennessee. It happened right as we got off the show on Sunday night, but let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so just a big get for, you're talking about big. He's big. 6'4", 320 is what he's listed at. I think he's, right around 310 at one point. But a guy that's only played 1 year of high school football and just kind of found his way at Kansas. Apparently – Rodney Garner recruited him at Auburn, didn't work out, and ended up at Kansas. But, I guess that relationship just stayed intact. And so when it came the opportunity that, Rodney Garner was at Tennessee, I think Dejoun Terry was, all for it, all ready to go. It seems like he's in shape and he's put the work in. And, that should be all that you need to know. If Rodney Garner's willing to, re-recruit you at another place, I think you're going to be just fine at Tennessee. And
good point. It's a good point.
Yeah.
We talked about trusting him a little bit on Sunday. Re-recruiting. Yeah. I like that term.
Yeah, and maybe that tells you something about the Jay Hardy situation. Didn't go after him. That's 2 defensive tackles that you've gotten in the past couple weeks. So I just don't think if they're going to get another transfer, I don't think it's going to be on the defensive line. So probably Dejoun Terry is probably your last guy. But yeah, just a guy that had some success at Kansas. He had 14 total tackles in 2020 in that shortened season. Is big run stopper, and I think he's got a little bit of he can move a little bit. Kind of that Elijah Simmons-esque. Just carries his weight well, and I think he wanted to play in the SEC, and he probably wanted to play out of high school, but it didn't work out at Auburn, so ended up at Kansas, but wanted to get back in the SEC, and I'm excited to have him because it's on the defensive side of the ball. Number one.
That hey, take all of it that you can. Don't short any of it.
That's really hot.
God, my chili's as hot as it's been all week, so I'm pretty fired up.
A little warm.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a fun, man. It's gonna be a fun weekend on Rocky Top. You just enjoy it. I jokingly about the don't critique. Seriously, just enjoy it. Yeah. Like this is like even where I think Tennessee's program keeps improving. Just enjoy it because these kind of weekends, even when you're really, really, really good, don't happen all the time. So,
yeah, it's going to be an electric atmosphere for sure. Yeah, I wish it would have came a little earlier with, students not being there, I think that that prevents some of them coming in. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great weekend for baseball. You got Peyton Manning, and you can say what you will about his record at Tennessee and stuff like that. But the fact that like a guy like that realizes, what this is, I think is huge for this program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Lady Vols, they have two, bottom of the ninth, down one. They've got 2 on, 1 out.
Oh, I mean, we're talking like Ross Kivett was talking about who's going to be that guy that's going to get a hit in the bottom of the ninth.
Who's it going to be? Because Tennessee needs this right now. They're down to number 10 seed Texas A&M. I didn't see how A&M scored. They had to score in the 8th and 9th.
Are we the 4 seed?
We're the 7.
7 seed.
7 seed. So that's happening right now live. Hey, do we have any questions? Baseball, football, anything?
I didn't see any questions.
I don't think we got any in the chat. Just got a couple Go Vols, beat the Hogs comments here. Kiv's awesome. Love having him on. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, someday we're going to have this round table where we just have a conversation with Zerk and Frank and the head guy and
I meant to talk a little bit. I was curious if hopefully Zerk defended his high school teammate's honor after Evan. I like to think maybe that spurned Evan Russell's second 3 home run game. If he told him, he's like, it's no big deal. A kid from South Doyle did it. So
it's true. Yeah. Cody Hahn.
Okay, so let's go into we got a new little segment. I don't know what you got for this, Landon, because we're still kind of working out the details, but we got what's trending. The only thing I hate about this show, it's the only thing, is that I'm on it, and then also that we only get to do it twice a week. So we kind of miss some things that happen on late Sunday night. We almost missed the Dejon Terry commit. I almost missed it. But thankfully, it happened before I went to bed.
It seems that it's never happening during our show. It's always right after we're done.
Or right before. We get the right before often. We're like, we'll put that in or change that topic.
It's after we've tweeted out our outline and then something happens. You're like, okay, well.
Exactly. So I did want to catch the stuff that happened on Monday, Tuesday, and then obviously today. And then maybe we'll wrap it around a week depending on how big things are. But we got stuff from, I don't know, maybe Landon's got stuff before Sunday, but I've got stuff starting from Sunday night. So I'll run down a list here. You stop me if you really want it, or if I need to clarify anything for you, because maybe I got some stuff on here that you missed. I don't know. Okay. So my first one is what's trending, Colin Sexton's nuts. I don't know if you saw it on Sunday night, but Luka, little nut tap, just, cup check on Colin Sexton. Actually got ejected for it. Tennessee just scored a run. They scored 2. They scored 2? They scored 2. Get in. Ball game.
Walk off.
Walk off triple. I think she ended up getting a third.
Does that
get scored as a triple in that situation?
If they throw home and advance on the throw?
I think she got to triple when they were to third when she was throwing home. So she got to third. So does that get scored as a triple?
Usually it'll probably be as a double
and
advanced on the throw.
Gotcha. But anyways, Colin Sexton got a cup check from Luka. Did you hear Luka afterwards?
No, I did not.
Luka, he was like, I didn't mean to, but on video it definitely looks like I mean to. I was
at least you're on it.
You meant to. All right.
I look pretty guilty.
He's like, that wasn't. I love that's the kind of person that's like, I didn't rob that bank, but that dude does look like me.
That's like a.
So it's you.
That's like a what's that show with Jake Peralta? Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, that's something like a bad guy in that show would say.
Exactly. My next one's Murder Tiger. Knoxville's Tiger has moved a little bit farther south to Houston. Tiger was loose in Houston, neighborhood in Houston. And so I assume you heard about that story, correct?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Turns out the owner was out on bond for first-degree murder charges. So
good for him.
Probably shouldn't have had a deadly tiger. I don't know.
His chili was hot.
His chili had to be hot. I've got my next one. I've got Medina Spirit on drugs. Have you kept up with this saga? Because on Sunday night it was that horse did not do drugs. Monday morning it was the trainer the groomer that groomed the horse that morning had cough syrup, and he peed on the hay, and the horse ate the hay with cough syrup. That's why he tested positive. And then either late last night or this morning, Bob Baffert was like, yeah, no, I definitely gave that horse a shot that had steroids in it. So it's just like been a roller coaster of Medina Spirit doing drugs.
God.
Yeah.
That's rough.
I've got a few more. Do you have any trending topics there on Twitter, Facebook? Any of those?
Yeah, I mean, some of them don't have to do with sports, but
That's fine.
Chick-fil-A's, they're running out of sauce. Is that real?
I don't know, but the Chick-fil-A
Can you not
Greenville,
just make more?
I don't know how that works. But I do have a bone to pick with Chick-fil-A in Greenville. They only ever give me one sauce. Like I have to remember not to drive off and stay and go, hey, I need more barbecue or Polynesian or whatever I got. Pisses me off.
I asked for another one today. I usually just get two.
So I always
they
get
just give
two.
me two.
Oh,
I'm always like, hey, I need another one. Just in case. You never know when like things get
dicey.
Yeah. I mean, you go a little bit too much on one bite and you're like, oh man, I need some more. There you
go. Do you dip your fries in any kind of sauce from Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A. I don't do any other sauce but Chick-fil-A.
Okay. Each their own.
That's all I need.
I used to love Chick-fil-A sauce. I wore out of it.
You're not a big mayonnaise guy though, right?
But I love Zach sauce, and there's quite a bit of mayonnaise in Zach sauce. And I don't hate
Zach sauce slaps.
Yes, it does. 100%. Any other trending topics?
Rush probes. Valdosta's reconsidering rehiring Rush probes. Or I guess they're reconsidering the firing of Rush probes.
Right. Which I need to read it. I mean, he's a terrible person. Don't get me wrong. He had a second family. But, like, I don't think the reason he got fired was, like, that big of a deal. Like, I mean, there's a guy in Knoxville that's doing exactly what Rush is doing. But he's just recruiting players and paying for housing and whatnot. So.
Are you naming names?
I didn't name names. Like, there's probably 8 guys in Knoxville going, how does he?
Yeah, I was about to say, you could probably tell who it is and who it's not.
But I mean, I didn't name any names because there's probably several guys going, how did he know that? So the shoe fits. I don't know. My next one is the Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fight. They are officially fighting on August 14th.
Nice.
And I think we talked about this the other day, how people get mad about like the lightweight and featherweight boxing matches, how they're not like fun to watch because people aren't getting hit. Dude, the heavyweights are the most fun boxing matches. Like
it's a slugfest.
It is a literal slugfest. It's awesome. So that'll be a fun fight. My next one, kind of a question for you. Who do you want to see as the next A's? Put your favorite city.
Nashville.
The blank A's. You want to see the Nashville A's?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I don't want it to be the A's.
The A's is a classic. It's synonymous with me. Like, if the team moves, I think they should keep the A's. But if you don't,
if you're gonna be A's, that's fine. But don't be green and yellow. Let's get some better colors than green and yellow.
So my only argument like where I side with you is I like that. Well, that's not true. I was about to say the Nashville colors for all the sports teams are the same, but baseball or football doesn't match soccer and hockey. Soccer and hockey match though.
Yeah, I mean,
so if you do change it, it has to be yellow and blue, in my opinion. You can't change it and not match those colors.
Or do you do red and blue and just have it?
No.
You have 2 and 2.
No.
Symmetrical.
I'm out. Nashville A's. I like the Nashville A's. I'd love for Nashville to get a major league team.
I think Charlotte would be cool.
I'm a Cubs fan, so I will jump at the first team that lets me. So
yeah,
I lied. Not the first team.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were just like they like Atlanta because of
it's regional.
Yeah, it's close to home. The proximity is close. So I'm wondering if like Atlanta loses a lot of fans if they do end up going to Nashville because of.
I think the only fans you would lose, maybe some in East Tennessee, but I think only Middle Tennessee. And I think I've even heard people say, and this makes sense, like Middle Tennessee's kind of split. You have a lot of St. Louis fans, West Tennessee, St. Louis fans, and then East Tennessee, Middle Tennessee are Braves fans. But I mean, you won't. I don't think you might get some Northern Alabama fans at least, but like Northern Alabama or Alabama will probably still be Braves country. Mississippi will still be Braves country. Like you'll still keep a large amount of your fan base, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think you would see a big shift. But yeah, Tennessee, there's obviously a lot of Braves fans in Tennessee. Okay, my last one. Trending. This actually happened right before we got on the show. Blake Bortles, Green Bay Packer.
Gross.
Why did the Packers get another quarterback?
Probably because that other one's not going to play for them because they're morons.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that another day. I don't know if we have time. Maybe if we need a spot to fill on Sunday, we can talk about the Green Bay drama. Because I think I want to talk like, does Aaron Rodgers have a reason to be mad? And like I'm kind of split right now, so we don't.
Yeah, I mean the Jordan Love thing, that sucks.
I don't mean just about that though, but yeah,
right. There's a lot more to it than just that. But I would be mad about that.
Right.
But yeah, also Aaron Rodgers is weird. I mean, he doesn't talk to his family and stuff like that. So I mean,
yeah, that's what I love. Real quick, I love that. Like you mentioned that because it's like, are the Packers calling his bluff? Because the man doesn't talk to his own family.
Oh yeah, I mean,
don't call his bluff.
Right, exactly.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so Stupidity is an epidemic. My first one was actually Rush Prost. Well, not Rush Prost, but the school board in that county, Valdosta County, I guess. So I'm going to change mine. Mine is the Oakland Raiders. Two Oakland teams.
Nice.
Or former, Las Vegas Raiders. Did you see their new addition to Allegiant Stadium?
No.
It's a club.
A strip club. Nice.
That would make more sense than this. A club like in the end zone. Like right behind the end zone.
Like what kind of club?
Like a Las Vegas.
Like
what you would see in Vegas. It's
They're just gonna have EDM music just blasting.
Dude, I don't get like. Why would you? Why? It's like we talked about this with Nashville adding the honky tonk to the stadium. Like no one should want to go to a sporting event that's what minor league baseball is for, to go to the sporting event and just drink. Like that's what minor league baseball is all about. Like who wants to be minor league baseball? Like as an NFL team or an MLS team, why would you want to be minor league baseball? It just doesn't make sense. Are you admitting that your product's so bad on the field? You better hope hot women come. And that's another thing. Do they really think hot women are going to come to a club at a football stadium? It's going to be all
and how much are you going to pay to get in this thing?
Yeah, but it's going to be all overweight middle-aged men. That's it. Some with their shirts off.
She's hot.
So it's like it's just so stupid. Like
it's going to be like that. I'm trying to think of a bar that's actually, but I don't really know of any. But like it's like a bar, like say, one that you might want, you wouldn't take your wife to.
Any bar in the old city.
And well, no, but like a girl walks in and all the guys are just like she's fresh meat. Like that's what that bar would be like.
Most bars in the old city.
You haven't even been to most bars in the old city in a long time.
The first off, the pandemic makes people creepier, not less creepy. So let's stop there.
Whatever, Caleb.
Do you have a stupidity?
Yeah, because you moved to Johnson City instead of staying here with me. I'm just kidding. AJC Sports.
God, dude.
So, I mean, Cole Brennan passed away, and that sucks. That was heartbreaking. Apparently, he had some issues with, drugs and stuff like that. So, hate that for him and his family. Wish them peace and stuff like that. But why do you name something like this when something so tragic, like a tragedy happens like this? Why do you think like this had to go up? Like they have quite a bit of followers. They're verified. They got a little check.
Like regardless of how tragic, a dude died. Like the headline just never made sense.
Yeah, and somebody was like, "Yep, this is gonna get likes." Quarterback Georgia defeated in 2008 Sugar Bowl has died. Really?
Dude, it's just it pisses me off for so many reasons. Like the fact that people clicked on that article, I think I did, just to see who wrote it and didn't even have a name on it. It's terrible, dude.
Well, then they changed it. Did you see that?
Yeah, which
quarterback in 2008 Sugar Bowl has died. That's what they changed it to.
It legitimately pisses me off.
I mean, most said like former Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan passed away. I mean, like there's so many ways that you could say that where it's not.
Yeah, like you said, so many ways, and you chose that one.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, I forgot about another trending thing that Tennessee officially took over North Carolina.
Yeah, it did. Nice. I forgot about that one too. That was awesome.
My family is actually coming in for my sister's wedding on Friday, so shout out to her. She's getting married. Good for
Congrats.
her. Yeah. More importantly, I'm in it, so I'm a part of it. So, but my family's coming in from North Carolina, so I can't wait to just be like, "Hey, I own you.
Welcome to Tennessee forever."
Yeah, you never have to leave.
Yeah, congrats. Congratulations. Guys, this has been, I told you when I got on, like I knew this was going to be an awesome episode. So we appreciate you guys sticking around. We know it was long, but, length doesn't mean quality. We know that, but it was both quality and quantity tonight, and those are always fun. We got to see Tennessee softball win live. So it's just been a great night, and or a great morning, or whenever you're listening to this podcast. We appreciate it. Make sure you check us out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, iTunes. Make sure you check us out there. We appreciate you guys listening, coming in and hanging out. Hopefully we see some of you guys in Knoxville and Lindsey Nelson this weekend. It's 100% capacity. Like Kiv said, just come and enjoy it. It's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, and they're Checker in Lindsey Nelson Stadium. You know, people are calling that a gimmick, whatever. Dude, you're going to wear orange and white anyway, so just wear the color you're supposed to wear, and it'll be just fine. It's okay.
Just have some fun, man.
Yeah, just enjoy it. Go support this team, and Ross Kivett and the staff. They've done a great job, and they deserve your applause, your time, and everything like that for this weekend. So they're going to put a great product on the field. I have a good feeling about this weekend. So go show up, be loud, be proud, be Vol. That's all we got. Hey, I'll see you this weekend too.
I'll see you this weekend.
We're bringing the boat in, and we out.